What's it gonna be? This is Lamar! Oh my God! My brain's gonna explode. My brain's gonna explode. There's something sinister afoot, absolutely.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Slightly Biased Show here at the wonderful Haymaker Studio. Haymaker Network. If you're not subscribed, link down in the description. If you guys have not liked the stream yet, make sure you do so. Helps out tremendously. It lets YouTube know I'm having a great time. Even if you're coming back and watching the show later, which most of you do actually, make sure you hit the like button because it goes a long way even after the fact, huh? Think about that, folks. Think about it. We are live and alive. I got the chat up on the screen, monitoring that situation. Okay, we're also available on all audio platforms, so make sure you guys go and check that out. And if you are an audio listener, make sure you're leaving a 5-star review. Because it just, the people need to know how great the program is. All right. Now, I did get word that my good friends Ben and Skin had something that they wanted to share on the show. So I guess we'll give them the space, I guess. So we'll let them infiltrate my show, I guess.
We now interrupt the Slightly Biased Show for a very important message. I'm Ben, this is Skin, and we're very happy to be joining you here. We got an amazing opportunity for you, and we think you're going to like it. If you're watching the Slightly Biased Show, you probably like Dallas Mavericks basketball. You're probably heartbroken over Luka. You probably miss Luka. Oh, are we joined up with our friends at Frankel & Frankel? We have a very special opportunity for you.
Yes, incredible seats to see Luka Doncic play the Mavericks. Coming up on Sunday, April the 5th is that date. Frankel & Frankel are going to give you 2 tickets, but here's the stipulation. You have to go to these social media posts on Instagram from Haymaker, and you have to tag a friend. And you and that friend have to both be following us on Instagram, TikTok, and be a subscriber to the YouTube channel. If you and your friend are both doing all 3, then you will be eligible to win these tickets courtesy of our friends Frankel & Frankel. So it's Frankel & Frankel, it's Haymaker, it's Luka going up against the Mavericks. Do not miss it. Your reward for being a part of the Haymaker movement.
There you go, guys. There you have it. The chance to go to the Lakers game. The ad was a class action lawsuit. No, that's coming. Don't worry. We're working with Frankel & Frankel. Don't worry about that. No, that's an awesome opportunity for you guys if you want to head to. The seats are incredible. We went there. I saw the Celtics game there. We did a giveaway. The seats are absolutely phenomenal. And you will be sitting directly behind Mark Falwell, Devin Harris, Skin, the broadcast crew. You're right there. You're right by the tunnel too, where all the players come out. Cuba comes out. Tony Romo comes out. So really, it's a great opportunity. So make sure you guys are following in all the right places. We will announce the winner to that next Tuesday on this show. So make sure you guys tune in. Make sure you guys, enter. It's a great opportunity. It's not going with me, so you don't even have to worry about going with me. You can just go with a friend, or a significant other. What a great first date, huh? Go watch take a first date to great seats. Tell her or him that you bought them. Naturally, never mention it was a giveaway. Tell them that you bought them. If you are taking a significant other for a first date, let us know. We'll have everything set up for you. Okay. We'll make sure that Skin and Devin Harris and Falwell turn around and greet you. They'll be like, "Oh my, you're here? What? Who? How did you? They let you? Where's the security?" Right? We'll make you seem like a big deal, and that'll go a long way. They'll be so impressed. They'll say, "That was you." You're like, "Yeah." We'll have Mark Cuban come out and shake your hand. We'll call you the shadow owner of the team. That's what we'll do. It's going to be a great opportunity for you. So make sure you guys do all of that. I'm going to be signing up. I'm just going to be real. I'm going to be signing up. I want to go see the Lakers beat the Mavericks by 48 points. But it'll be fun, though. They'll win. The Mavericks will lose by 30. But it'll be fun, right? It'll be a good time for everybody involved. So make sure you do. They will lose by 30 points. But that's okay, though, because that's what's going to happen. I'm glad Slightly's getting to work with people in his age range. Okay. And how am I supposed to continue my show? We'll continue it. Last night, we don't really talk about the Mavs much anymore just because it's depressing, it's horrifying, it's sad, it's scary, it's something that nobody should really dive too deep into because there's really no point in it. But they do have the number 1 overall pick from last year who's 19 years old. And he had a great game last night, his best game since returning from injury. And I do want to talk a little bit about it, and I want to string you guys along a little bit because I'm going to do a video later today on my channel, kind of diving a little bit deeper into this Mavs team because one of my theories is currently despite how bad they are, despite how terrible they are, despite how boring they are to watch, and sign up for the giveaway to go see them. They are it's different in person. I know saying this directly after a giveaway to go to a game is probably not the best, but you want to go. Slightly, will you be taking Sabrina Carpenter with you if you win the tickets? I'll have to see what her schedule is, and especially mine as well. I might not even be able to, like, schedule-wise. I don't know. She has hit me up recently. I'm just kind of, whatever with that. But anyways, again, there's not much to talk about with the team, and they're incredibly boring. But sign up for the giveaway. Last night, they lose back-to-back overtime games. Nick dropped this crazy stat on Locked On that really is bizarre. The Mavs have played in 6 overtime games this year, all of them in back-to-back games. So they play one overtime game, then play an overtime game their next game. They play an overtime game, play an overtime game their next game. Kind of bizarre, kind of strange. But, yeah, the Mavs lose again in overtime, kind of getting back to where they were in like the early part of the season, where they were losing every game in a clutch fashion, which kind of had you somewhat optimistic about the team because they were playing close. They were maybe a little bit better than their record indicated. And then they had this stretch where they lost, 18 of 20 games, and they were just getting blown out, and it was absolutely horrible. But yeah, last night's game ends at 11:45 p.m. local time. It was a home game for the Mavericks. The game didn't tip off till 8:45 p.m. Why? I don't know. It's the dumbest thing in the sport currently. Just accept it for what it is, because the reality is, it's Wednesday. It's March 23rd. This team's 20 games below 500. I'm sorry, it was Monday night, whatever fucking day of the week it was. It's a Tuesday night, Monday night. The only people that are in attendance won giveaways from Haymaker or CC's Pizza Buffet. Nobody's there because they paid $300, $400, $500 for tickets. They got gifted the tickets from their work, and it's 9 p.m. before the game starts. Adam Silver, your league's a disgrace. Okay, but with that being said, the game itself was Coop's best game since coming back from injury. He had 32 points, 12 of 19 from the field. Saw him knock down a couple threes, 2 of 4, got to the free throw line a little bit. Here's the thing with Coop that's really starting to encourage me. He did have, 7 assists, 6 assists. The turnovers have ramped up a little bit for him. But all in all, he's been pretty turnover adverse so far this season, which I think is the most impressive part of his rookie season to me, because that was something I was expecting him to be a turnover machine early on, right? Especially if they were going to go heavy on ball usage with him. The reality is he just has not turned the ball over that much. Last night was, kind of a rare occurrence for him this year, but Coop's been really good at not turning the ball over. The playmaking has really taken a step forward, a noticeable one, compared to where it was earlier in the season. I don't know, the Mavs in recent weeks have realized, wait a second, we should be shooting threes. So they've been playing shooters a little bit more, and that's just opened up opportunities for driving kicks, spraying the ball out, shooting open threes off of those driving kicks. And, Coop has been doing a really good job setting guys up. You had the shot at the end that could have potentially won the game for the Mavericks. Lots of talks about this. Anytime a player, passes up what could have been a game-winning shot, we talk about it. I think this was a completely and totally fine shot, a pass by Coop. The funniest thing here, take me home. Coop is so confident. That's what we love. We love the irrational confidence in the young guy. Obviously, he doesn't have basketball reference. That's fine. Najee's 29% from 3, but that's okay though. That's okay. I can confirm slightly does not smell like garlic bread. No, I don't smell like garlic. I mean, I'm not eating garlic bread with any regularity. Maybe with a pasta dish of some sort. I don't make garlic bread. I don't enjoy garlic bread, but that's fine. So, anyways, yeah, I like this play by Coop. I'm never going to complain about a guy kicking to a wide open shooter for a potential game-winning shot. We'll take the open shot 10 times out of 10. I don't want a player, truthfully, I don't even really want a player who has main character syndrome to the point where they need to be taking contested game winners. If that's it, we need to have the ball in our hands and we need to be shooting 22% on these end of game shots. I don't want that. I don't need that. Kick out to open shooters 10 times out of 10. I want that. I want winning players. We're not building, an AAU team. We're not building, go out there and do whatever you want, NBA 2K team, okay? We're building a team that I want to win. And I'm going to talk more about this in a video later about what we need moving forward as a Mavs, what their philosophy should be, and what my philosophy is changing into just watching the rest of the league, watching these really good organizations build their team and build with, either marginal high draft talent or no high draft talent, right? That's kind of where I'm at. So Again, I'll break that down a little bit more later, but yeah, it's encouraging to see for Coop. Now, the thing is, and I push back against this, and I don't want this to come off as hate. I think people, and I'm going to expand on this later in the show, criticizing players and stuff like that. We've been down this road before, right? The amount of things that were said to me in DMs in regards to Luka when he was on the Mavs, I can't even repeat. A lot of it because it was in different languages, but just absolutely insane. There's a difference between criticizing and hating, and I don't even really want to call it criticizing because I think Cooper's had a fantastic rookie season. And in a lot of things that I thought would maybe be slow for him, it'd take him a while to learn, he's excelled at, which has really made me excited about his future. Some of the stuff that I thought he'd be really good at immediately has kind of taken a little bit longer to get there, which encourages me still because I feel very confident it'll get there because I know it's in it, right? Think about some of the defensive stuff, which I think in stretches this year hasn't looked as good as we had hoped, but it really has taken a step forward as of late. Playmaking's been good all year. It's really taken a step forward recently. The ability to get downhill. That was something that early in the season, before injury, was like, oh my God, this is crazy, right? This is absolutely insane. But yeah, either way, it's been a really good rookie season for him. But there are some criticisms I have. And again, criticism even feels like a hard word. It's more so areas of improvement that I want to see to help him unlock that next level. He has to take more threes. Even in a game like last night, 4 threes is just simply not enough. We got to be at 6. I think bare minimum, we have to be attempting 6 threes a game for him. For his exact play style and what we think he could be moving forward, he has to be shooting threes at decent volume. Constructive criticism never hurts. We were talking about the youngest player in the NBA. Yeah, for sure. That's it, right? We're not saying he's attempting 4 threes. He's a bust. He's never going to make it in this league. Like, that's not what we're saying. We're just saying, yeah, moving forward, that's something that needs to tick up. And the Mavs know this too. They drew up a play for him out of a timeout to get a good look at 3 coming off of a screen, right? Loved the shot. Looked good. Looked nice. And the Warriors called the timeout pretty much immediately after, and Kid was hyping him up. And, I guarantee you that was Kid saying, yes, shoot that shit. I told you to shoot that, right? And it's not lost on me either that they ran an ATO play for Coop to shoot a 3. So it's clearly something they know, right? And I wonder how much they're telling Cooper it as well, that he needs to be shooting threes at a higher clip. That tells me a decent amount. They're letting him know at a decent amount. So anyways, yeah, I thought the game last night for Coop was amazing. He's impacting the game in so many different ways, which is encouraging, especially coming back. Like that's what has encouraged me in this stretch where the shooting numbers have been terrible, right? There's no two ways around that. But he is impacting the game in multiple different ways. And I just look at the team next year, and I do think Coop's a big second-year leap guy. We've seen it in the league before. We've seen it with these type of talents before. Second-year leaps are, major things, and we saw it with Luka. I don't want to project a Luka second-year leap on him because Luka turned into a top 5 player in the entire NBA immediately, right? So I'm not projecting that, but I do think with better talent surrounding Cooper next year, I think we will see a big leap forward. And I'm a believer that this Mavs team next year might not be terrible. I don't think they'll be contending in any serious way, but I think there's a pathway for them to be a frisky team. I think there's a pathway for them to be a fun team to watch, which will be a much different feeling than this year's team, which is just horrible, catastrophic watch. Every time you watch it, you question whether or not you even like basketball anymore. Remember, guys, sign up for the giveaway. You can go to the Lakers, see the Mavs in person. I don't want to take anything away. The seats are incredible. The team isn't. The product isn't, right? But the seats are incredible. If you've never sat that close near the wood, that's what people like me who have sat courtside before, that's what we call it. We call it the wood. It is incredible to see these guys up close in person. So make sure you guys do that because, again, the team itself isn't good. And whenever I sat that close, Coop nearly had 39-point triple-double against the Celtics. So I'm signing up for the giveaway. I hope I win. What'd you guys do if I won the giveaway? Would it even be honored? If I win, can Finn sign my veterans hat? Well, I'm not going to be there, but again, I guess I don't get. Fine, I guess, whatever. No, I'm not like bitter or anything about it, but like it's cool. It's cool. I'm not going to be there, I guess. So, anyways, yeah. Have you lost weight? You look huge. Oh man. Anyways, yeah, I think Kyrie coming back next year will be big, assuming he's on the Mavs still. Right, Kyrie coming back next year will be big. Derek Lively playing he'll play more than he played this year, right? That'll be so huge. Jack Lively's such a great player. And whatever guy they get in the top 8 or so, it's just going to be so nice for them, right? It's going to be so nice. The playmaking, I'm at least feel good. There's so many opinions about this upcoming draft class. The thing that makes me feel good is whoever the Mavs are getting is going to be a good playmaker, right? Like all of the guys that are projected around the range the Mavs can end up all have good feel, all have good playmaking chops, some better than others, of course, but at the very least, you have guys like, Burries and Wagler who are like good feel playmaker guys, even if they're never projected to be main engine guys, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, that's part of the fun. Early prediction on how many games Lively plays next year. Let's just get to 50. If we can get to 50, that's okay. I'm not asking for anything more or less than that. 50, and we load manage a little bit, but 50 feels good to me. If we can get that, I'd feel all right. Lively was off crutches and in a boot last night. Yes, so we do have that. He's a very impactful player, incredible player. He just needs to play. And hopefully these foot injuries don't have lingering long-term effects on him, because that would suck. A couple other things to talk about real quick. College basketball, it's going on. It's happening, right? And we've watched a lot of March Madness. We're kind of monitoring it for alternate reasons, right? We have the draft pick coming up. We got the draft. It's a loaded draft. All of these guys are in the tournament by and large. March Madness surges to best TV start with viewership up 5% in opening rounds. Okay, the primetime games averaged 12.5 million, making it the most watched first round window in NCAA tournament history. So we're kind of back to this where WBC most viewed, NBA's had some most viewed stuff I've seen, most viewed opening night, most viewed whatever it was for the NBA. I'm wondering, they're calculating views differently now, aren't they? So some of this stuff is, I think, nobody knows. Nobody knows what ratings mean. The NFL will host the most shitty event you've ever seen in your life, and then they'll turn around and be like, yeah, guys, remember the flag football two-hand touch Pro Bowl game that was played in a warehouse last night on a random Tuesday night that no one knew happened? Yeah, 44 million people watched it. It's like, what the fuck? Nobody watched that. That's a lie. They lie to you, right? The NFL lies to you. NBA doesn't. NBA's ethical. So that's nice. But yeah, nice to see. NCAA ratings are up. I'm really interested into the reasoning for that. What are some theories? Because it doesn't feel, is it maybe draft related, or am I just NBA pilling it? Does the NBA aspect have nothing to do with it, and it's more so Duke's good? I don't know. I think strong draft class could have something to do with it, but I think we're really kind of grossly overestimating that. Anyways, congratulations to the NCAA. It was an interesting weekend. Not a lot of big-time upsets. It is hilarious that Texas is viewed as the Cinderella team. So it does kind of suck that it feels as though this is 2 years in a row. We haven't had too many big upsets. We haven't had too many big upsets. We haven't had like these big Cinderella teams in a few years. A lot of people theorize, and people who actually follow college basketball theorize that it's maybe NIL money is making it to where these mid-major schools, the talent gap between them and the top teams just is widening so much that you're not really going to get these upsets anymore. I don't know if it's that. It could just be, random occurrence, right? Random variable stuff. Because, Duke was in serious trouble their first game against Siena. Like, serious trouble. If they lose that game, we're not even having these conversations, right? We're not even having these convos. But it was a fun weekend, and some of the games were incredible, man. I mean, that Iowa-Florida game, that's all-time stuff. That really is. That was such an incredible game. Some really good ones. And I know the average margin of victory in round one was like the highest it's ever been or something like that. I saw that stat. Day one, I think it was day two of the tournament, the last day of the opening round. Favorites were undefeated. So that's kind of the shit that sucks a little bit, right? where part of the major fun of the NCAA tournament is these upsets. We haven't really gotten that, but the games have been good. So it's a bit of a trade-off, you know? And that's what a lot of college basketball experts have said as well. Yeah, we might be taking Cinderella runs out. We might be taking some of these 15, 14, 13 C's making deep runs that might not really exist that much anymore. But Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, like these games will be absolutely elite because you're going to get the best of the best against each other. So we'll see. I'm excited to see how the Sweet 16 plays out. A lot of really fun, entertaining matchups. And again, if you're an NBA hole like myself, there is a lot of NBA talent playing in these games, man. A lot of NBA talent and a lot of highly projected lottery picks will be playing over the next couple of weeks. Their teams are still in it. You think Cam Boozer, obviously. You think Darius Acuff. You think Wagler. You think, who else? Nate Ament. Who's drafted him top 10? The Sacramento Kings? Oh, they probably will. Can you imagine if you were a Kings fan and you ended up with a 6th overall pick and you drafted Nate Ament after this season? Would you just be done? Would you just be done? I think I would. I think that'd just be it for me. I'd even feel the same way about Acuff. If I'm the Kings and I end up drafting 4th or 3rd and draft Acuff, I'm out. That's it for me. It was a good run, except not really. It was a good run, except it really wasn't. So anyway, shout out to the NCAA, and I'm really excited and pumped about some of these matchups coming up in the next couple of days, and we will be monitoring that situation closely. Didn't even open the show talking about Acuff's shoe deal. Yeah, Darius Acuff has a shoe deal now with Reebok. They're saying it's the first college player ever to have a signature shoe deal while in college. So what's up? Is he going to be like debuting a shoe in the Sweet 16? Because Coop was signed with New Balance last year. I guess he didn't have a signature shoe, but Coop was signed with New Balance while in college. So I'm a little bit confused by that. Stay on that side slightly when Acuff leads us to the finals. I'm not going to stay on this side. Let me be very clear. If the Mavs end up drafting Acuff, it depends on where they are in the draft. If the Mavs get like the 5th pick and draft Acuff, or God forbid land top 4 and take Acuff, I'm going to push back and be a salty little bitch about it. But if he ends up being really good, then I'm not going to care at all, and I'm going to pretend like I never cared. I'm going to say stuff like, yeah, guys, but I said he could be good. So there you go. That's what I'll say. Yeah, guys, I said he could be good, and he ended up being good, so I was right. That's how you always build yourself a defense mechanism right there. It could work out. Say this right here. Yeah, the likelihood of it working is 0.1%. It's not going to work. No chance it works. The percentage it works is 0.0001. But if it does work, you can say, I told you guys there was a chance. Boom. You're safe. You're safe. And I go back to Acuff, and this is completely unfair. Has nothing to do with him. Think about some of the people pushing Darius Acuff. Okay? Think about it long and hard. Think about some of the takes you've seen about Acuff in recent weeks, and think about who is saying them. And then ask yourself this. Will those people be right? It's shitty. It sucks. It's not fair to them. Will these people be right? No, not Isaac. Isaac, it's funny how, like, Nick has weirdly tried to pit Isaac and I against each other at Acuff. But then Isaac's like, yeah, I draft him like 5th or 6th. I'm like, okay, I'm against Acuff like a top 4, top 5 thing. That's my whole stance. Right? That's my whole stance. And then you got Kendrick Perkins saying he should go 101. You got Rashad Phillips, but again, related. That's a little bit different. You've got the Sacramento Kings, and it's funny. A report came out that the Kings love Darius Acuff and are higher on him than most. Not surprising. And then a separate report then came out minutes later that an anonymous NBA team has Darius Acuff top 2, I believe is what it was, which was the Sacramento Kings. Right? Like, let's just be serious. I also saw a Kings fan be like, yes, Mark Spears, who had that report said that I saw Kings fans say that Mark Spears has legit ties with the Kings, like has definite ends with the Kings. And when it comes to Sacramento, knows what he's talking about. So an anonymous GM has AJ DeBonza ranked number 1, Caleb Wilson number 2. Caleb Wilson's going to be, I think, one of the most interesting guys here. Because there is an outside chance he goes top 2. And I'm just telling you right now on my slightly biased big board, which I'm in, I don't really want to share fully because I'm in some consulting negotiations with several NBA teams. I'm just wanting to see how much they're offering before I, for free, give it out. But I have Caleb Wilson number 2 as well. Just because I think you're looking at a franchise-changing defensive piece. If the offense comes around, fantastic. You're talking about one of the best players in the entire NBA. Even if the offense doesn't come around to that level, good uber elite athlete, will be a monster in transition at the very least. Good playmaker as well. There's value to be had there on top of being just an incredible defensive force, right? So I like that. I like that floor being there for him. Darius Acuff number 3. I cannot for the life of me get there. I mean, if the Mavs end up, I'm telling you guys, if the Mavs end up with a good pick, we'll be excited, obviously, if they end up in the top 4. I will have a lot of sleepless nights. I will. And look, Acuff, once we get to 5, in my opinion, Acuff there, fine, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to agree with it, but that's okay. So 5 through whatever, I'm not going to personally agree with some of the placements, but okay. But once we're top 4, I just, for the life of me, cannot get Acuff over Cam Boozer, AJ, even though I'm maybe not as high on AJ, Caleb Wilson, and Darren Peterson, unless you do pre-draft medicals, pre-draft interviews, and you're like, oh, Darren Peterson, there's a problem here. There's something mentally not there. Maybe there's some degenerative hamstring stuff. We don't know, right? But there's something here that's really scary to us. Then that becomes its own thing. But yeah, that's it, man. And I've talked about it a million times, and I made a big video about it, and that was going to be my reference point where anytime anyone asks me about Acuff, it has nothing to do with him more than it has to do with, I mean, it does have stuff to do with him, but the history in the league of these guys. And that's such an important thing that people completely, that's such an important thing that people completely overlook. You're not saying he's bad. You're not saying he's a bad college player. Nobody in their right mind would say that. Nobody's denying how good he is offensively, right? It's just, historically speaking, in the NBA, the levels you have to reach as an offensive player to even start to outweigh your defensive downsides is monstrous. And even then, there are problems. That's it. Now, once you get past the top 4, all of those guys are flawed in their own ways to where, okay, if you do think that you're looking at a generational offensive guy, then the conversations can start there. If you're just like, yeah, he's so good offensively, though, we can work past it. But I just, in the top 4, I just like those guys. The consensus top 4, I just like much better. And to be completely fair, like AJ DeBonza has very similar concerns. The problem is he's uber athlete who's just bigger. So I can talk myself into those things working themselves out, even if I am concerned about them, right? Why are you so concerned that they would take him top 4? What do you know? I just, they went out and got Tyus Jones. They seem to not care at all about small point guards. They're okay with it, right? And they need a guard. That's what's scary to me. They need a guard. Could they go, yeah, you know what? We're good. Next year we can draft based off of need and fit instead of just pure talent. So anyways, that's just my concern, right? Peterson the next, Anthony Edwards. Yeah, I love Darren Peterson. Now again, if there's some medical stuff or mental evaluation stuff, and that seems really unfair to him, but these are questions that are being raised. If those are the problem, if those things come up with problems, then okay. they only have these small point guards because they refuse to actually invest in the position, two-way guys minimums. That's true. They're not paying any of these guys significant money, so or use significant draft capital on any of them. So that's a good point. That's a good point. We are really going to draft the college defender of all time. I don't know if he's the worst college defender of all time. Come on, I don't know how fair that is. I'm not sure how fair that is, but I will be interested to see what happens with Darren Peterson. Because if he drops a lot, not like he's mentally ill. I'm saying mental evaluation because there's been a lot of skepticism about his commitment level, which sounds unfair, but this is stuff that people have said. I'm not even weighing in on it. His commitment level, maybe some leadership traits, again, stuff that we've said these things before about guys. Like these things happen with Anthony Edwards. You mentioned Anthony Edwards. That was something. Anthony Edwards doesn't like the NBA. Anthony Edwards doesn't like basketball. We heard those, right? That's just everyone loves defense all of a sudden. Yeah. I mean, listen, here's the problem. Nico Harrison, I think one of his many mistakes and one of the many things that he fucked up is him doing the hardline defense wins championship stance. I think is going to wreck people's brains where they're then going to go the opposite direction and be like, well, defense doesn't really matter in the NBA. This is the biggest misconception, and it completely destroys how people evaluate basketball. It completely destroys how people talk about it. And I don't think a lot of teams have fallen into this trap, but fan bases certainly have, where the NBA is about a bucket, man. Nobody plays defense anyways. You see this get brought up all the time. Nobody plays defense anyways. It's the biggest misconception in the entire NBA right now. The league plays a ton of defense, okay? Just like it's been the case for the entire history of the NBA, the best teams in the league play defense at a very high level, okay? Very high level. And what's being asked of defenders is more than ever, right? And teams have gotten so smart offensively that if you're putting a weak link on the floor, they're going to get hunted relentlessly. That's it. It doesn't matter. You can surround them with four of the best defenders in the league. We are hunting that weak link over and over and over and over and over, especially when you get to the higher, when you get deeper into the playoffs and your matchups are better, teams are more well coached, teams have better offensive talent. It's just, that's that, right? That's that. Sam with the $4.99. You're wrong on Acuff. Give him give me him as opposed to watching this dog shit season. Defense be damned. You see what I'm saying? Defense be damned. Like, yeah, I mean, if you want to win a championship, you got to play defense. If you're just like, yeah, whatever, I just want to have aura and watch my team have aura, I don't really care. Like, I don't, winning is secondary for me, aura is number one. Okay, then that's a completely different conversation. But yeah, defense, if you want to win at the highest level, which is what you should be striving for. If you draft a guy like Cooper Flagg 101, your outlook as a franchise changes. I think there are some franchises where it's like, listen, we're kind of realistic. We're kind of realistic with our outlook. Maybe we're kind of far away from a championship. And maybe it's been so long since we've even been competitive and put out like a fun product that, sure, maybe there's a 1% chance Acuff becomes so good that it doesn't matter. But he's fun to watch. People are going to love him. People are going to buy his jerseys. He's going to be a fan favorite. Whatever. Let's draft him. We'll take him, and that'll be that, really. But defense, and I hate to say it. I hate to say these words, these three words. People were saying it long before, but defense wins championships. It just does. It just does. Don't worry about A-Cone slightly. We're going to find out soon. Demon Riccardi is a Spreadsheets FC. Oh, man. Riccardi's Spreadsheet FC. All right. That's cool. It's going to be so... I don't think you guys are prepared for how fun this draft cycle is going to be. The lead up to the draft lottery, and no matter what happens after the lottery, there's so much debate to be had, whether you end up with a top pick, right? If you end up inside that top four, really I think fourth is the least amount of debate to be had if you end up with the fourth pick, because then it's just, yeah, whatever of those top four guys are there at four, we end up taking. It seems like AJ's going to go 101. The only the only way he doesn't, it sounds like, is if the Pacers win. The Pacers apparently are very high on Cam Boozer. That should tell you a lot. That's a very smart front office. But yeah, you have the top three. There's tons of arguments to be had. Who should go 101? Who should go 102? Who should go 103? 4, I think you get the rest of the consensus. And then even if you land 5 through whatever, you're going to have arguments about who to take where. It's going to be a blast. Yeah, I mean, AJ, from what it sounds like, is viewed pretty widely across the league as the 101 guy. Now, listen, come and take a walk with me. There could be a scenario where landing the first overall pick is obviously the absolute best case scenario. But to expand on that, if you're a smart team and you're maybe analyzing this, evaluating the talent, and you think to yourself, yeah, man, Cam Boozer, that's our guy. We think he's the best prospect. We think he's the best player here. We like the way he projects in the league. We are kind of forward thinking here. We're looking at the league and how important feel is, how important playmaking is at every position. If we get one of the best playmakers in this draft, where at his size and the position he's going to be one of the best playmakers in the front court in the entire NBA, and just the advantages that can give us pairing him with other playmakers is incredible. If we get 101, trading down, it hasn't happened in so long, but trading down maybe a little bit where a team that just loves AJ can move up, right? Think about it. I watched a scouting video by an NBA scout yesterday, and the way he pointed out some of AJ's tendencies make me think there's no way he fails or falls. Some of his moves he has already are crazy. Yeah, AJ is one where I might veer off a little bit from Spreadsheet FC. Not that Spreadsheet FC hates him, but Spreadsheet FC is a little bit low. I've seen some nerds big boards where he's like in the 10s. His ability to drive and get to the rim at his size is incredible. It is. It's incredible. You just envision that with NBA spacing. He's going to be a downhill force. Now, there's enough concern, and where I think the concerns lie with him, from what I've seen with the nerds, and it does kind of make some sense. He has some questionable three-point stuff, okay? Whether or not he's going to be a willing and a good enough, capable three-point shooter is a question. His playmaking numbers are a little underwhelming, but I think he sort of passes the eye test in that regard, right? Some of these teams are just shit outside of the top guys. Darren Peterson's kind of in a similar situation. But you look at that, the questions then become, all right, if, let's just say the three-point shot never gets there and the playmaking's a little underwhelming, so he's not somebody that can realistically be your number one go-to guy, which you want to project him as. If he's not capable of doing that, how does he project as a number two? How does he project as the second best guy on a team? That's where you start to get into, well, if his three-point shot's not good enough and the defensive stuff is so incredibly underwhelming, that's when it becomes maybe a little concerning. I think that's what a lot of the online draft nerds do, is they look at players' floors and sort of project, okay, being a number one is so, like, really taking a guy and turning him into a complete and total number one set and forget is rare. There's not that many of those guys in the league. I mean, there's probably like 6 total in the entire NBA. So the likelihood of you getting that is incredibly rare. How then is this guy going to project as somebody who's playing off of another guy, or somebody who's just kind of in a team system where maybe we don't have like a go-to number one guy, we just kind of pass the torch? That's where some of the stuff. Well, yeah, the people were saying that about Coop, but the thing with Coop that made him so exciting as a prospect was, okay, even if Coop does not project as a 101 guy, as a number one guy, if you think that he's not going to be somebody who can be a first option, he will be an unbelievably incredible second option because he does all of that other stuff well. His catch and shoot numbers in college were great. You know, that'll all come around, I think. Catch and shoot numbers in college were great. Great playmaker, good rebounder, fantastic defender. Right. So, like, all of that stuff ended up working out in Coop's favor because it was like he does everything. And that's what the Cam Boozer argument kind of is, where it's like, all right, yeah, but what if you don't think anybody in this class is a true number one option? then that just boosts Cam Boozer's stock a little bit more because he just does everything incredibly well. So you can project that out, right? Boozer defends well enough in college. He can't be a 5. He gets torched when he plays the 5. He can't be the 5, but I don't think anybody's drafting him as a 5. Cam Boozer definitely defends better than AJ DeBonza, for sure. Okay, Caleb Wilson is the best defensive prospect in this draft by a lot. Are we? There's no way, right? Say, could we be sleeping on a Caleb Wilson 101 argument? I don't know. I could see a team falling absolutely head over heels for him. I could see a team, if Caleb Wilson was healthy and had a big tournament run or something, I could see it. Absolutely. Healthy Peterson feels like the best first option in this draft. See, I think even Darren Peterson is somebody who probably is going to end up being a uber elite second option guy. I worry about his playmaking feel just a lot. Only because that's a requirement if you're going to be you have to be a great playmaker. That is a requirement to be a number one option. But I absolutely, I like Darren Peterson a lot, and I love his potential fit in Dallas. It's perfect. It is perfect fit like an absolute glove. Looking at SGA, Wemby, Luka running around the West, you need big defensive wings. I mean, I'd love Caleb Wilson too, man. Woo! I love it. If you're just doing a Dallas Mavericks big board, I still think I'd have Cam Boozer 101 because I just think he's the best guy here. I'm interested. If they get second, I think Caleb Wilson is probably my second most intriguing prospect, but there's enough fit concerns there. I don't know, man. It's so interesting. I'm so excited about this draft class. It's so good. It is so good. I think Boozer can fit with Coop. There was this conversation going around. This tweet kind of went semi-viral yesterday from Xavier Miller, USAF veteran, host of the Millionaire Mindset Pods. Yeah, it's always these type of guys who hate the NBA, and I can't quite figure out why that is. I mean, I have my ideas. But they're always so vocal about the NBA being trash. And again, I have my ideas. This is a reply to Shams report yesterday that the NBA's salary cap next year is going to be $1 million lower than previous outlooks due to a reduction in local media revenue. Sources tell ESPN, minimum salary $149, tax $201, first apron $209, second apron $222. So I think some important context needs to be added to this is that the cap has still gone up. It's just going up less than they originally projected it to. Okay, but anytime stuff like this happens, and again, this is just the NBA is a magnet for this type of negative press. I don't know what it is. It feels like easy clicks kind of, but also at the same time, I'm not sure why the NBA has become a vehicle for these type of people to get off certain takes, right? I said 2 years ago the NBA will be irrelevant in America within 15 years. People laughed, but this is how it starts. First, ratings decline, then fan interest declines, then local media revenue declines. You don't lose cultural dominance overnight. You slowly become less relevant until it finally shows up in the business side all at once. So I think what our guy Xavier here is missing greatly is obviously the fact that, and Shams even mentions it in the report about the local media revenue. It's not that local or local interest in teams has gone down. It's just that the revenue has gone down because all of these cable networks that did the regional broadcasts got fucked. Okay? Got absolutely destroyed. That's it. And teams had to scramble last second to fix this. And it has led to some problems that need to be ironed out. Like, for example, the Mavericks, if you wanted to watch every Mavericks game, this year. We've done the math on this. But if you wanted to watch all the Mavericks game, you could get it. Are they still doing the games on Channel 21 or whatever the local channel is, where you can get an antenna and watch the games? But other than that, if you didn't have access to an antenna, maybe you just use your laptop to watch, whatever the case may be, you have to get a Mavs TV subscription, which I think is like $100 a year. Okay, you have to pay that. That doesn't give you access to really anything else besides Dallas Mavericks games. So it's like, if you're somebody who just kind of casually watches the games, there's a hang up there a little bit, right? But then on top of that, you have games that are on Peacock. And am I wrong about this? The Peacock games on Monday night, like last night's one, that's Peacock exclusive, correct? It's not on NBC. Am I wrong? I could be wrong about that, because NBC has different schedules where some of them are on NBC, and I think some of them are only on Peacock. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It was not on NBC. Okay, I think the Monday ones are Peacock exclusive. Last night was on NBC. Okay, great. We don't know. Join the giveaway, guys. We don't know. You have to have ESPN, right? Because ESPN has games still. Amazon now is streaming games, so you have to have also an Amazon membership. Tuesday is Peacock exclusive. Okay, so there you go. Tuesday is Peacock exclusive. So there's where you get some problems, right? It's just becoming increasingly more expensive to watch all 82 games of your team. And they need to iron it out, and they need to fix it. Listen, I know there's regional deals that make this complicated. For the life of me, cannot understand why there is not just a one-time fee, pay the NBA, whatever, and you can watch all of these games, even the nationally televised games. I just can't believe something like this doesn't exist. I know there's exclusivity stuff, but like it's preposterous to me. It is preposterous that this type of stuff does not exist. And I'd like to think it could, because you would still, your diehard fans are going to be the ones paying for that still. Okay? Your casual fans who might only watch ESPN games are just going to stay doing that. I don't understand how something like this doesn't exist, but it's something that's talked about in all of these, MLB, NBA, whatever. So anyways, I think another thing that Xavier here is missing the mark on big time is the fact that basketball in and of itself is becoming more and more popular by the day. Okay. Now, we laughed at Adam Silver for saying it's a highlight league, but the reality is social media, the NBA does gangbusters. It does incredibly well. It does incredibly well engagement-wise. Okay. Fans are engaged online. That's good for a younger generation. Women's basketball is booming. Now, they're in kind of a boom period here where you have generational women basketball players coming up all at the same time, and it's really helping drive interest in women's basketball, which, again, is in a roundabout way very good for the NBA, and it's why the NBA subsidizes the WNBA and supports it financially. Because, the WNBA, it takes a long time for these leagues to turn a profit, and people make fun of them for it. But a big reason why the NBA sees value in this is projecting out a little bit that someday this might become profitable. But two, it's important to have, women care about basketball. And if you care about the WNBA, chances are you probably care about the MNBA. And here's another big thing Xavier's missing. This is the big one that he's really missing the mark on. International interest in the NBA is at all-time highs and growing by the day. Okay? It's incredibly popular outside of the United States. It's probably the most popular American of the core four sports outside of the United States would have to be the NBA. So it's doing good. It's doing fine. They have problems that they need to fix, for sure. I'm not one of these people. But the idea that the NBA will be irrelevant in America within 15 years. He said this 2 years ago. Like, all right, dude. I mean, cool. Based off what? Your vibes and fifis? And then you always have the bot accounts. You always have the bot accounts. Yeah, this is right. Oh, wait, everyone's shitting on him. Good job, guys. Good job. Good work, everyone. Imagine being a ball boy. Do you get to watch games in person and get paid for it? Hell yeah, that's awesome. Within 15 years, everything will be irrelevant. Yeah, I mean, Xavier might be right. It'd be funny if we're living in, fallout shelters in 15 years, and Xavier kind of follows it up with this tweet. The internet's still on because we have to be force-fed our state propaganda. But Xavier comes on Twitter and says, told you guys. That'd be a hilarious follow-up. That really would. The joke is there. We're eating Chef Boyardee. We're eating Campbell's chicken noodle soup out of cans. There's no microwaves, so we have to eat it cold. I told you guys. Oh, hell yeah. There it is, right there. That's what's up. There was a lot of conversation that it's this time of the year for the NBA, huh? It's jarring how many people I know who couldn't care less about the NBA right now. Was at a brewery last weekend watching the NCAA, and it was like pulling teeth trying to get anyone to talk about the league. The NBA is a serious cultural problem with the American sports fan. So this is just your typical March, your typical February, March programming here. Now, I will say what's kind of funny about this is brewery for college sports. Not sure you're really tapping into the NBA demo there, right? And maybe I'm wrong. I think this guy's in New York, so could be a completely different environment than the one I'm accustomed to. But if I'm going to a Texas, Dallas-based brewery for a March Madness watch-along party, I'm not expecting too many NBA holes there. I'm not expecting too many NBA holes. Yeah, sounds like you didn't read the room all that well. I will say this, anecdotally, locally, I do agree with this. Nobody I know cares about the Mavericks right now. Nobody. Now, I haven't looked at that as a NBA problem. I look at it as a Mavs problem. It's the same thing where, the Cowboys everyone will always care about, but when the Rangers are shit, nobody cares about the Rangers. When the Stars are shit, and to their credit, they're rarely shit. But I don't hear anybody ever talk about the Stars. It's just like when a team's bad, locally, people have other things to do. People have everything to do. NBA is a serious cultural problem with the American sports fan is an insane sentence. And the thing is I feel like the NBA has such a strong cultural imprint, though. Its main stars are mega celebrities. We spend time debating them. We spend time talking about them. They're in our lives in so many different ways. I disagree with this overall sentiment, right? Yeah, I do think if you're at a brewery during March Madness watch-alongs, then yes, I think you're probably not in the NBA's specific target demo. But I do wonder, for sports in general, are we just out of time currently? I'd be interested in seeing some long-term stuff for this. But are we at a time, and I know that, ratings are up, depending on what you want to look at, but are we at a time where there's just so much going on that it is kind of hard to sit here and do, have like hour-long sports debates? Right? Like, are we at a time, are we, is it just, there's so much going on in the world? NBA holes, I feel like, are more likely to partake in other substances and veg on the couch. Yeah. Yeah. Basketball is the sport of the young American sports fan. Accessibility to the sport itself is so much higher than any other sport. Now, I will say some of the stuff I get concerned about with basketball is, look, man, if you want to go buy a Wilson Evolution, which is like probably the best basketball you can get, and the one that you'll use at pickup games. If there's a Wilson Evolution there, you're using it at pickup games. Those are now $100. The price of that has skyrocketed to $100. And if you want like basketball shoes that are good, like the thing is, if you're buying basketball shoes, you do need them to be good. You need them to perform good. You need the traction to be good. You need the ankle support to be good. If you're playing in them a bunch, it helps prevent injuries. It helps you protect yourself. Those are hundreds of dollars. Like it's getting to a point now where if you want to play the sport seriously, you're needing a serious investment, and that goes without even mentioning the training, without even mentioning the private trainers, without even mentioning signing up for a travel team where you're spending thousands of dollars to go to tournaments. It's a little bit scary, man. It's a little bit scary. That's any sport, really? Yeah, it is. It's any sport. Absolutely. I would say it almost certainly is still the cheapest of all of the major ones. I don't know much about football, youth football, because for me, whenever I did play football growing up, that was just like a school thing, really. You didn't want to play too much football because, you'd probably kill yourself. So I don't know what that is. Who's your ball guys? Look it up, man. Wilson Evolutions are $100. I bought one recently. It's terrible. Those airless basketball things are frauds. Absolute fraud. I saw a TikTok about those recently that they break so easily. I bought it at Dick's Sporting Goods. So if you guys know any more about youth football, explain it to me. I don't know how that works. Baseball, obviously, insanely expensive. Hockey, obviously, insanely expensive. This came to and I also wonder, I don't think this matters for ratings. This is a very terminally online talking point here. But I saw this tweet, and my goodness, I couldn't agree with it more. I could not agree with it more from Zito here. Problem is that a lot of people don't enjoy sports or the athletes. They're watching to start or win arguments against a bunch of other losers. That's why everything has to be extreme. Everyone's overrated. They can't even discuss players they like without putting another down. So I think this is a online specific thing, right? I don't think this is something that your just regular average sports fan is talking about that much, right? Like just in person, in real life. And these things have always kind of existed. Whenever you would do an all-time debate, right? MJ, LeBron, Kobe, you're shitting on the other guys as well. But online, on Twitter, this is so incredibly true. It's reached a boiling point. It's worse than it has ever been. I don't know why that is. I'm not sure. It could very well be because we do kind of have an influx of young stars. There was kind of a weird gap period between some of the older guys and some of the newer ones, right? Like you had KD and LeBron and Steph, I all kind of lumped together in the same generation. Obviously, LeBron's 5 or 6 years older than those guys, but I do lump those guys all together. And then you did kind of have like a weird 7-year where you had Giannis and you had Harden, if you want to count him. Although he's probably closer to the LeBron, Steph, KD ones. Giannis and Jokic, right? And Embiid for a time, and those Giannis or those Embiid and Jokic debates got nasty, really nasty. But then now there's this influx of these young guys. When I say young, I mean like 26, 27 and younger, who are like here. They've arrived, and their fan bases are they're ready to go. They're ready for war. They're ready to go to war with you at any given moment. And I do think the NBA becoming so international has played into this as well, where you have people who, yeah, I'm not only a fan of my favorite player, but I'm diehard because it's like he's from my country. So, or he's, whatever it might be. I have some type of ties to him internationally. I don't really care about anybody else. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to put down my own. That's the one thing I hate, and this is the thing I hated, during the Luke era. Obviously, I would love to go back to the Luke era. Please don't misconstrue any of this. I miss it greatly. But the Luke era was, you couldn't really, at least online, it was hard to just like actually assess the things going on with your team because everyone would just take it the wrong way. It's always somebody's fault. It's never this person's fault. It's always this person's fault. Everything that happens is somebody's fault. It can't be, we have to put the blame on one specific person, one specific entity. And it's just like, dude, it's an awful way to talk about the sport. And I'd love to hear y'all's anecdotal opinion on this, but to me, it does feel like it's worse than it's ever been. You can't say anything without somebody taking it as a slight against their guy. You can't say something positive about somebody without other people taking it completely the wrong way. You can't say, you can't even really be positive unless you're being overwhelmingly positive. Because if you're just positive and not overwhelmingly positive, then you're actually hating. So to me, it's reached a boiling point where, yeah, I agree with this. Everyone's overrated. This has been a long-standing take I've had. Nobody in today's world is overrated or underrated because everybody gets called overrated and underrated. So nobody is overrated or underrated, right? Everything is, you can't have one, in an 82-game season, we are going to box score watch, because most of these people do not watch games. We're going to box score watch every game, and if you dare have a bad game or a bad shooting game, you're trash and horrible, right? You're trash and horrible. But don't you dare say my guy's trash and horrible ever. And it's hard. It's hard to just talk about the game. It is. I did a video about the MVP race where I was very supportive and positive about all of the guys I talked about. And then people got so angry in the comments of that video because I said I thought Luka was probably played his way into second or third in MVP odds, which I thought was a massive achievement for where the Lakers were at certain points of the season and where the talking point, where the discussions were regarding Luka earlier in the season. So the fact that he played his way into that conversation is genuinely remarkable. It's a testament to how good he's been over the last 3 or so months. And that's why I said if your positivity isn't egregious, gross positivity, toxic positivity even, then that's that. Think about that. It's existed since the early 2000s. I used to go to war for Dirk whenever people dissed him in favor of player B. Yeah, I think it feels way worse in the NBA than any other sport. And I think it's because NBA athletes are just much more personable. You see their face. There's only 5 guys on the floor for a team at any given time. One player can change the game much more than any other sport. So I think that's why. But it has made it to where it's really difficult to just have, for example, can you have an MVP conversation without people getting very upset by it? No, you can't. And not only that, but can you have an MVP conversation? Can you have an MVP conversation where even if you're being positive towards everybody and you're making it your mission to not do it, this person's 1 because this person at 2 sucks, or this person at 2 doesn't. If you're just 1 through 3, good, blah, 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 blah. Is that even possible? People got mad when the fans rightfully called Luka thick, or when people said Embiid doesn't drive winning. Nothing wrong with the truth. I'd hate to lie and say Paolo is a winning player. It's a lie. Paolo's got some shooters. Did you guys see that Twitter drama a couple nights ago? Some dude was getting dragged by Paolo Banchero defender. I didn't even know they existed. But they're out and about, and they're ready to go. They're a small but rambunctious bunch. They want to get out there. They're eager. They're eager to go to war. You had a long experience with message boards. How was it then? I don't have a long experience with message boards. I was on message boards. They were fun. That should really be what it goes back to. Twitter just ruined everything, I think. Who is Commissioner Dynamo? Anyways, NBA calls for arbitrary 65-game rule to be abolished or reformed. Oh, that'll be abolished by the end of the season. NBA, the 65-game rule will be completely and totally erased in the offseason. I think that's almost certainly going to happen. They need to reduce the number of games. That's it. When earlier we're talking about ratings and, people not caring, I do think they need to reduce the number of games. They have to. They simply have to, man. I know this might be just kind of a rare air year when it comes to tanking, where teams have pick protections and the draft is so good, right? But this is just, come on, man. This month has been horrible. This month has been terrible. It's been a month and a half now of just the third of the league not giving a single fuck about the game. It's not enjoyable for anyone. You know, if you have a 10-game slate, chances are maybe only 2 of those games are against teams that are actually in the middle of trying. Maybe 2. And then you're kind of lucky if the team's healthy, right? And you'll get lucky and get games like last night, the Lakers and Pistons game. Most people would have thought the Lakers were going to win that game red hot. No Cade. Turns out, well, that's kind of a classic Lakers loss. Luka loss. I feel like every fan base actually expects their team to lose that game. We've been red hot as of late, and we're going up against a team without their best player. Let's check the Discord real quick before we call it a day. Love Wemby, but him begging for MVP is such a bad look. Generational superstars don't get handed contenders by year 3, but he did. He will win plenty of awards in this league, but campaigning for it in year 3 is crazy work. See, this is partially what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure that account is a big-time Luka stan. That Nyla account is a big-time Luka stan. But that's kind of partially what I'm saying. It's like, what does that even mean? What is that even that criticism? A reporter asked Wemby about his MVP case after the game, and he answered it. And now we have to shit on him for it. You see what I'm saying? It sounds ridiculous. Like that's part of it too. With these stand debates, you sound ridiculous. Your points don't even make sense. Like some of the arguments against Shea is just like, what are you even saying? Doesn't make sense. Some of the arguments against Luka, it's like, what? What are you like? There's valid criticisms about all these guys, but some of them's like, huh? Well, the funniest one's like, yeah, well, Luka doesn't pass. It's like, what? Nobody who actually watches would ever say that. It's the same thing I see sometimes like, well, Shea's not a good playmaker. It's like, huh? Do you watch the games? You sound ridiculous to anyone who watches the games. Here's the thing about Wemby, man, right? And here's the reason why. He has a legit MVP argument. In my opinion, should probably finish second, and I think almost positively will finish second in voting when it's all said and done. Dude, the Spurs have been one of the most dominant teams in the league for a very long time. We're like a couple months into this crazy Spurs stretch where they're like 20-2 in the last 22 games, and then on top of that, They are a team that, I mean, the 1 seed's not out of the question for them just yet. Right? The 1 seed's not out of the question. Over their hot stretch, they have a plus 30 net rating when Wemby is on the court. It's insane. If he qualify, I think as soon as next year, it might just be Wemby played 65 games, if that rule still exists, or he played enough games for voters to count him, he's winning MVP. He will win MVPs playing under 30 minutes a game. It's insane. It really is crazy. His defensive impact is otherworldly. It's been a really long time since we've seen somebody like that. And then you kind of combine that with what he does offensively. And I actually just kind of disagree with the Spurs supporting cast being as good as people make it out to be. It is good. It is good. Gobert's up there. But the thing is like Wemby's a positive offensive player too. It's crazy how you're either the MVP or nothing in people's eyes. Yeah, I know. I think that's part of it too, is it's like, and listen, I know, Luka's had a great, really whole calendar year here. He's been incredible since the turn of the new year. I know I think from what I can just guess for Luka's stance, it's getting a little uncomfortable, right? He's 27, 26. You have some of those dog shit college basketball takes. It's incredible. All right, what do you disagree with? Let's hear it. I'm sure this is an A-Cuff thing. Because my A-Cuff take isn't a college basketball take. It's a translation to the NBA take. But I'm interested to hear it. I'm interested to hear a pushback on it. Hawaii in the Final Four? Oh, okay. Have a good day. Have a good day. Have a good day, sir. Have a good day. Have a great rest of your day. Talking about 27-year-olds more than actual have a good day, sir. You're really smart and intelligent. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your day. Anyways, yeah, Wemby definitely has a case. You didn't offend me. I hope you have a good rest of your day. What in the flying fuck is on my screen? What is on my screen? Sorry you don't understand Isaac Big Fish Johnson. You want to come in here and say I don't know anything about college basketball, and then you want to roundabout way shit on Isaac Big Fish Johnson. You don't know anything about it. Get out of my life. You're out of here. You know nothing about Isaac Big Fish Johnson. You want to come in here and talk about college basketball. You don't know anything about him. That's one of the most insane pictures I've ever seen. I regret even showing that on the screen. For those audio listeners, it was Luka. I actually don't even know how to begin to describe that. The Nerds ranked their top 10 prospects coming into the NBA draft. What stands out? AJ DeBonza 1, Darren Peterson 2 for both. All right, same top 5 for everybody. Wow. Yesofu 6th? Burry 7th. I can get behind that. Kingston Fleming's 8th. Yaxel 9th. Kareem Lopez 10th. Interesting. Wagler 6th. Fleming 7th. Braden Burry's 8th. All right, they're both high on Braden Burry's. Hey, it's different, man. It's different. We don't hate that because it's different. Okay? LeBaron a little snubbed. Yaxel 9th, it'll be 24th. It's a huge swing. I think the Yaxel thing is, I think most people just accept that his floor is just very high. Right? Yeah, 24 on opening night is scary, to put it lightly. I mean, not really that scary. I'd take him. If the Mavs somehow... I was thinking about this today. What are some scenarios where the Mavs can have 2 like top 15 picks? I think there's some scenarios. I think there's some trade down scenarios that can net you other picks. You know, is there a... The Thunder have, I think, back-to-back picks, right? Or projected with the Clippers and what other pick is it they own? I think there's a world in which, that's right, okay, the Sixers pick, yeah. Sixers and the Clippers pick. You know, could you maybe get one of those? Is there a world where maybe you can trade down? I thought of this scenario today. What if you land at, let's say, 5? You get the 5th pick in the draft, if you're Dallas. And let's say Portland calls your phone. And we'll say Portland has the 10th pick. I'm just throwing out numbers here. Or even 12th. Fuck it. Portland has the 12th pick. And they call your phone and they say, hey, listen, Scoot has restricted free agency coming up. We're not that interested in that. We want a guard. You know, we want to we need another guard that we can really kind of rely on. We love Acuff. What if there's Dallas can literally not get the 5th pick? Okay, let's say you're 6th or 7th. Acuff is still there. Would you trade down a few spots with Portland if they give you a future pick maybe, and then you flip that future pick to take one of the Thunder spots? So then let's just say in theory you could draft 12th and 15th. You have the 12th pick and the 15th pick in this draft. And then I was taking the scenario B, all right, maybe you go Burry's 12. Yeah, in the made-up scenario I had in my head, it was 10th, but I don't even think Portland could really move up to 10. Or some team like that. Move down a few spots, use whatever you get. I mean, they did this in the Lively draft. They moved down a couple spots, used what they got in that process to take on the trade exception they got in that trade to take on Rashawn Holmes, who trade back into the first round. Could they do something like that and then move up from 30 or 29, whatever it ends up being? Trade this pick for AD. Oh, yeah, we're going to do a community mock for sure. Don't really like the 12 through 15 range once Phylon and Burries are gone. I guess, are we sure Burries will be gone 100%? If I could trade down and I know Burries will be there, I would do that. I would 100% do that. I'd be cool drafting Burries like 7th. So if you could trade down and draft Burries still, I think you can target the Spurs pick with PJ and the Lakers pick with Gafford. Yeah, maybe. Absolutely. I like LeBaron Phylon too. The thing about Phylon that's interesting is his freshman year at Alabama, he defended incredibly well. So you can at least project that. Only problem is he's small. He's like scrawny. But he's a dog though. I like him. I just like the way he plays. Pretty sure Phylon and Burries are both 6'3". Burries is a very good defensive player, though. I need people to understand with my small guard conversation, there's a difference between a small guard like Davion Mitchell. I mean, people keep bringing up Case and Wallace, but it's literally not even the same thing you could even compare. Case and Wallace came into the NBA a defensive-minded guard. You don't have to project defense for Case and Wallace. That's literally what he was brought in to do. Sturts is interesting. Where do you think he goes in the draft? Trade down to get Sturts and then something else? This draft just feels loaded, and everything I understand about next year's draft is that it's not very good. So maybe there's some value to be had in trying to get two guys. But I feel like a lot of teams will be feeling the same way, though, don't you think? I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. There will be no show on Thursday. No show on Thursday as I will be out of town. We'll be back next week with more college basketball stuff. The draft is just getting closer. The NBA playoffs are getting closer. This is dropping on Thursday, by the way, guys. This is dropping on Thursday. FullyDelusional.shop. If you guys want to buy one. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And if you're interested in going to that Lakers-Mavs game coming up, great seats. Make sure you join the giveaway. I love you all, and I'll talk to you guys later. See you guys. Oh, wait. You going to read subscriber chats? Didn't I already? It doesn't pop up on the screen. Oh, shit. Okay. Yvonne, 24 months. Mavs court curse. 2 terrible injuries in 2 years. I mean, there's a lot of injuries, to be fair. It's just Bryce, 9 months. Can we get Nico on to hear his draft thoughts? If getting Nico Harrison on was a possibility, trust me, we'd be all over it. Paul, 27 months. Your toxic positivity has driven me to Mavs fandom. My toxic positivity? I love that. We're spreading propaganda. Except we haven't at all this year. All right, love you guys. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.
Who's it gonna be? My brain's gonna explode. My brain's gonna explode. There's something sinister afoot, absolutely.
Security at the Haymaker Network is provided by Smith Thompson. Secure your home now at smiththompson.com.
Iron Ball.